So in my last video, I talked about some crazy serious allegations levied against Dr. Disrespect, which caused his friend Nick Merckx to make this Twitter video defending him.
Yo, checking in. Look, I opened Twitter, bunch of my mentions are he, they, she, hey, they, fucking, I identify as a helicopter. God damn it. And I seen the couple tweets about the doc. I'm as taken back as a lot of you guys are, okay? But the fact remains that these are some crazy accusations. Crazy. Big time accusations. And until we know more, until we know them as fact, until they've been proven with evidence, what are we talking about? What's anybody talking about? As far as the leave little kids alone stuff, this doesn't make it any further from the truth. Leave little children out of your shit. Have a nice day.
Ava Kris Tyson then responds to Nick Merckx by reposting this part of his video and saying, "Me every time I post on Twitter, /POS.
My mentions are he, they, she, hey, they.
Nick Merckx responds to Ava Kris Tyson by saying, "You should be ashamed of yourself, leaving behind your wife and child to play pretend. One day you'll wake up and realize what you've done." Reagan responds by saying, "Hey Nick, shouldn't you be protecting the kids from your friend?" Thorne says, "Seems like she's continuing to be a wonderful parent as herself." Fabian Pettigrew says, "Such a disgusting individual, and Mr. Beast is just as bad." Tommy Dude 2 says, "Laughing my fucking ass off! Nick, this one is amazing!" Ghastly says, "Keep that same energy for Doc, Nick. Doc was trying to link with a child while he had a family. What about that? Or are you just gonna stay quiet about that one?" Ava Kris Tyson responds to Nick Merckx by saying, "You've got a habit of putting your garbage input in on a situation you have no knowledge of. Also, you and your friend have other things you should probably be discussing, instead of making false claims about me, girly pop." Illumin TT responds, "Oop, get him girly." Jacob says, "I am genuinely sorry for your son. That poor kid's gonna grow up without a father, all because you wanted to play dress up." Former co-star of MrBeast videos, Jake Franklin quote tweets Nick Merckx's response to Kris and says, "Let him know." Atrocity Cow responds by saying, "You were role-playing a Viking." Jake responds, "Damn, role-playing as one of the greatest warriors and explorers the world has ever known? How will I ever cope with this?" Joshua24 responds to Jake by saying, "I'm glad you're gone." Jake responds, "Same." Panicked Shrimp says, "Glad you are gone. Ava's much more better." Jake responds, "Much more better. Says everything we need to know." Ryoki10 responds by saying, "Jake, Ava's still a part of her son's life. If you saw them posts on her Twitter, you'd know that. Hope this helps." Masni Blast responds by saying, "Damn, I didn't expect such a take from you. Respect my brother for speaking your mind." Gamerol responds to Jake by saying, "This is why MrBeast kicked you out, bro." Jake quote tweets him and says, "This is the best people can come up with when trying to shit talk me. You were right, I was fired. But this ain't have nothing to do with that happening 4.5 years ago." Drama Alert then tweets out Jake saying "let him know" to Nick Merckx, and captions it by saying, "OG MrBeast crew member Jake the Viking agrees with Nick Merckx's claims on trans people." Corey Toomey responds, "That's a true Viking." Saint Mo says, "MrBeast losing good people in his crew to keep Miss Tyson around." Blood drop emoji says, "I mean, everybody should be agreeing with Nick Merckx, but hey." Thorne says, "These people are hateful bigots who refuse to recognize that Ava is still being an amazing parent." Jake himself then quote tweets Drama Alert and says, "Shout out Keemstar getting the story wrong. I agree on what Nick was saying about Kris. There's a difference, num gnome." Lem responds by saying this about one of your old friends is horrendous, especially when Jimmy himself has condemned people who hate on her." Jake quote tweets him and says, "Friends leave friends on red when they get fired?" He then shows the last message he sent to Jimmy on March 10th, 2020, where Jake says, "Thanks for the memories. Don't be a stranger." Nick's Tricks responds by saying, "So you were bitter and taking it out on her because you got fired? Lol?" Danine says, "Ava isn't obligated to answer you at all. You were so butthurt over someone else leaving you and blaming them for it. Maybe you should look at yourself and think about why that might have happened." Biggest Dog 5 says, "A trans being a bad person? Never seen that one." Will says, "Wants to be a Viking but acts like a middle school boy." Jake responds with a picture of him boxing someone and the caption, Yeah, but this middle school Viking has a mean right. Going back to Jake quote tweeting drama alert, Drew responds by saying, "Bro, stop trying not to be cancelled, say what you think. Trans people are weird, just say it." Keemstar then responds to Jake by saying, "First of all, my team posted that, not me. Second of all, isn't that the same thing? What you even talking about? Jobless gnome." Daniel Chirwa responds to Keemstar by saying, "You were responsible for your team. How are you gonna put the blame on the people that made you?" CVX says, "You are literally responsible for your team." Corey Toomey says, "My team posted that incorrect statement, not me. By the way, the incorrect statement was actually true." Yeah, Keem definitely posted that. Jake himself then quote tweets Keem and says, "So you don't control your team? Wild." Second, that sentence makes no sense. Learn some grammar. I'm self-employed, and my job doesn't revolve around reporting what other people do on the internet because I have no other talent. Just remember, you wanted to meet me at the Airsoft Battle Royale, little bro. Dude talks the most behind his keyboard and camera. Connor responds by saying, "Keemstar taking any accountability challenge? Impossible." Keemstar then responds to Jake with this Twitter video.
Jake's having a bad day. He's in his feels. A lot of crying going on the Twitter. And why are you quote retweeting? Makes you look fucking thirsty. You know, you could just reply. But you're not talking directly to me. You're trying to talk to the few followers that you got. Like, that's what you're trying to do, to get attention. First of all, you said let them know, all right? If you looked at the whole conversation of what Nick Merckx was talking about, how Kris responded, and then you quote tweeting that response, it's very unclear that you're talking about just Kris, all right? It's very unclear. Now, you clarified later, and I'm happy to update it, but when you clarified, you're like, you got this story wrong. No, we didn't get the fucking story wrong, all right? We're going off a base of you responding to that entire fucking conversation. As far as my only talents are talking about other people, I made my first million long before I even started Drama Alert, making my own content, my own gaming fucking content, and doing my own fucking shit. And I've done many things other than Drama Alert. All you've done is been an extra in Mr. Beast videos. That's it. That's your only claim to fame, your only claim to success. That's it. So I don't know why you're talking about that. But I suggest you get a fucking tissue, wipe those eyes, and have a great day.
Killjoy TV responds to Keem by saying, "Bruh, nobody gonna listen to you throw a fit in a living room." Keemstar responds by saying, "That's the thing, unlike the Viking, I'm not making a video for you. I'm making one directly for Jake." Jake then responds to Keemstar with a Twitter video of his own.
You're right, dude. Terrible day here, man. Been crying practically all day. You see it on Twitter. I'm just crying my eyes out, man. But dude, I'll give you one thing, Keem. The quote retweeting, you're right. We're doing that for some attention. We're just taking advantage of the moment. You know all about that, don't you, buddy? And then to bring up the follower count. Why is it you people always bring up follower counts? Whenever you get into a conversation or argument, a follower count gets brought in. Who fucking cares, bro? Your followers ain't gonna show up for you if you have to fight. All right, then. And then we go to the Kris comment. I think it's blatantly obvious what I was saying. I said, let them know, to Nick Merckx saying, you should be ashamed for abandoning your wife and kid. 100%. I don't know how you missed that. Oh, wait, no. It was your team. I don't know how your team missed that, right? It was your team? Yeah. I don't know how your team missed that. And then to say my only claim to success was Mr. Beast. That's fucking wild, bro. That's wild. But dude, see, you prove my point. You do the most talking behind a camera and a keyboard. I would call your ass out to do a boxing match on your little Happy Punch promo shit, and you'd still say no.
Liar, liar. Pants on fire. You didn't say, let him know. You didn't say, let him know. You said, let him know. Let him know. Let him know. Referring to multiple people. Let him know. So it wasn't obviously clear. And as far as the boxing thing, get my stepladder out. Do you really fucking think, Jake, that I won't climb up there to 8 feet tall and knock your... Okay, I'm not going to box you. Fuck off, retard.
Creeker responds to Keemstar by saying, "The world would be a better place without you." James White says, 40-year-old man, by the way. Mythic Shadow 127 says, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." Drama Alert tweets about the interaction between Nick Merckx and Kris Tyson, which caused more people to react to it, like Femboy Fishing, who says, "Nick should be ashamed of himself for starting beef over a mom taking care of her child." Bama Man says, "Lied for years to his wife and had a kid with her just to leave them and permanently mess with that kid's life." Her Lila responds to Drama Alert by saying, "You can address her as Ava, you know." Nut Vogel says, this is one of the most disgraceful and shameful things a man could possibly do to his family. Mr. 36 says, I couldn't agree with Nick more. Hot Guy Jim says, Nick Merckx is so right, bro. Protect this man. Thorcast says, if Kris was born trans, then why did he have to lie to his wife and have a child with her, only to dump her after years of marriage to finally become a woman? Golden Tatsu says, the walking Geodude back at it again. Man's obsessed. Trans rights. Ava Kris Tyson responds to Drama Alert with a picture of them and their son and says, could have used a photo not from over a year ago, but go off I guess. Casual Niners fan says, we need to bring back bullying. Memology 101 says, poor kid. Mr. Beast chimes in by saying, Ava is literally always with her kid and doesn't even go on shoots to spend more time with him. Tuckman is always smiling. Not sure why this rumor is a thing. Arcade Guy 781 responds by saying, Mr. Beast should change his name to Mr. Based because he's an awesome friend to Ava. Papa Doc says, WWWWW, we love you for standing by your friends. Baron of Zealand says, get you a friend like Mr. Beast, man. Peerby says, thank you, Jimmy Beast, for actually stating facts. Christ Saves 33 says, rare Mr. Beast L. Cassandra McDonald says, I miss when Mr. Beast was kid-friendly. WestJet says, if Kris/Ava knew about the trans thing the whole time, why even have children in the first place? Did the wife know initially? Just some basic questions. DGod NFT says, I feel lucky my kids don't watch your content. Ava Kris Tyson then responds to Mr. Beast by saying, they just want to villainize trans people. When they realize and accept that I am in his life, arguably more than most parents are able to be, they say I'll ruin him or far worse things. They don't actually care. They want to move the goalposts so they can go, see, trans people bad. Nicholas Diorio shows Mr. Beast and Ava Kris Tyson's response and captions it by saying, everyone always hits Kris Tyson with the dumbest shit when owned a lolicon art piece drawn by prolific child enjoyer Shadman is right there. Sneeko responds to Mr. Beast by saying, you are one of the most influential people in the world now, Jimmy. Stop pretending like this perversion is normal. You can literally save thousands of kids' lives. PRB responds to Sneeko by saying, holy fuck, go back to being in the cuck chair or something, bro. Evan says, buddy, you are a literal clown. Opera GX says, it's so odd you involve yourself in this. Usually you only watch the action from the sidelines. Ava Kris Tyson responds to Sneeko by saying, Sneeko doesn't see Jimmy putting wells in Africa, helping the blind see, and the deaf hear as saving lives. Only when Jimmy says trans bad will he actually have made a difference in this world to Sneeko. Sneeko responds, if you want to pretend to be a woman, do it off camera. Don't be selfish. Don't damage Jimmy's philanthropic reputation. Don't confuse a generation of children by celebrating puberty blockers and genital mutilation. Ava Kris Tyson responds, Mad Jimmy kept the tranny and not your loser ass? Sneeko responds, I became my own man. You leeched off one and still failed. Tommy responds, cook that freak, Sneeko! Ava Kris Tyson responds to Sneeko by saying, I know I have skin in that company, so you were lying to make yourself feel better. I helped found it. Being your own man isn't sucking off grifters. Have a great time in 10 years when you were only remembered for being a racist. Drama Alert then reposts the interaction between Sneeko and Ava Kris Tyson and captions it by saying, did Ava Kris Tyson just cook Sneeko? Money Art Thou responds by saying, not gonna lie, she cooked up with that one. Thorcast says, Sneeko has always been a loser. This is just another L for his collection. Hoochie says, Ava Kris cooked Sneeko and Nick Merckx on the same day. Gray says, Kris actually the one getting cooked. Internet users Coping says, he called himself a tranny. I unironically believe this a whole humiliation ritual for Kris. Sneeko comments on this further on his live stream that was clipped by Drama Alert and posted with the caption, Sneeko speaks on his beef with Mr. Beast and Ava Kris Tyson.
And I know Mr. Beast, bro. You guys know that I used to do videos back in the day. Been pretty open about that. And I guarantee you, if I could gamble and I could bet, or I could just like do a lie detector, Jimmy, you know this is bullshit. You don't want to sacrifice your business. You don't want to get the liberal mob to hate you. And so maybe you even tricked yourself into believing this stuff. But in your soul, you know that this is wrong. But you're stuck. You started this business with Kris Tyson. How are you going to abandon him now? Everybody's going to know that it's the bad PR for the fact that you have a trans on your team. You don't want that. So you're stuck, and now you needed to defend this, and it's a stain on your reputation.
Drama Alert then makes a tweet about the situation that says, Ava, Kris Tyson, and Katie, baby mama, have put out statements in response to Nick Merckx and Jake the Viking. Summary: Katie is really upset with how her and her son are being talked about by other creators. Mentions they tried to live private lives. Importantly, she says both her and her son are living happy and healthy lives, despite what some creators are claiming. Additionally, she's asking creators to think twice before dragging her kid into online discourse. She also questions if Nick Merckx is setting a good example for kids via bashing others for differences in views. Ava also put out a statement, mentioning how trans people can be good parents, and also good co-parents. What do you think of this situation? Did Nick Merckx take things too far? They then show the statement that Katie made, which starts with her saying, "Mine and Tucker's life are both better than ever. Tucker's life is kept relatively private, as much as it can be, solely because of people like you who tried to make a headline topic with a 4-year-old's life blasted as a headline. There are plenty of other things in this world to talk about, other than a 4-year-old who will one day see all of this. Imagine having to get introduced to the internet and having all of your life as headline topics. All of his life bashed all over the internet. His life is kept private as much as possible, and not so people like you can create a headline of a life and situation you know nothing about. So next time, please choose a different headline other than an innocent 4-year-old's life. Our lives are the best they've ever been, and Tucker is loved and cared for by both parents and in both homes, and is thriving. I don't know who Nick is, and I don't care who he is, but as a parent himself, is this the example we want to set for our children? When we don't agree with someone, we bash them, their families, drag others' children through the trenches by spreading false information about their lives? Be better. Set better examples. Drama Alert also shows a tweet from Ava Kris Tyson where she says, "Anyway, trans people can be great parents. Them and their ex-partners can have cordial and healthy co-parenting relationships. And anyone who throws a child into internet drama doesn't give a fuck about saving kids." Ava Kris Tyson then responds to Drama Alert by saying, "Creators, like you guys aren't one of the main people perpetuating it, laughing my ass off." Fame INJ responds to Drama Alert by saying, "Seeing the ex come out to the defense really pokes holes in Nick's response. Think what you want, but someone who is absent would not have an ex say that about them." And that's about it for the reactions to this topic. If you want to keep up to date with all this Twitter drama, be sure to sub to this channel with notifications on. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.